My name is Shravya Verma, and I'm a designer for the South Indian cinema. So today I'd like to talk about some accidents that are some are happy, some are not so happy. But I'd like to talk about the accidents that happen in my life and the way it shaped me to be what I am today. Uh, I think let's talk. Talking of accidents, I think we should start with the ones that I'd like to avoid today, is falling in these heels. And hopefully, if I make it down without tripping over these, I will end up not being a meme on Instagram today. So, I was born in Vizag. I was brought up and schooled, everything here. I was raised here. And since I was a child, I found myself to be pretty much a misfit in all big groups, right? I never felt like I had this thing of blending. So I pretty much was very average at everything. I was never good or great at anything. Throughout my school, I felt, like I was such a weirdo and I didn't fit in anywhere. I really found my first love in dance. It was my first creative outlet. And throughout my school, I think it kept me going. It kept me having a small identity in school, maybe, and something that I was always looking forward after your recess, after your lunch. I never had friends. I think post school, around my 10th or 11th, I very naively told my parents that I want to pursue dance. And they told me, don't kid yourself, say something else. And then I told them I want to pursue fashion. And then they asked me if I wanted to be a tailor. So, not when they put it like that, definitely not. So, I said, no, I don't want to be a tailor. But my research on fashion ended there. I never pursued it, and like mostly all of you sitting here, I'm pretty sure my parents are also typically South Indian conservative people, and they gave me a lot of options, which was either do engineering or do engineering. So I ended up choosing MPC in my 11th because they told me first choose this, we'll see after 12th you'll have more options. And I remember very evidently in my 11th, my sister told me, see, engineering is for 4 years, architecture is for 5 years. So that means you're buying one more year to not get married. And that actually made me take up architecture. Of course, also because it's a more creative form of engineering. So I did architecture, I took up architecture. And when I decided that I will be doing architecture, I in my head had only one aim, one dream, one goal, which is to leave Hyderabad and do architecture in a university. I still remember I had this cupboard in my house on which I had a countdown, right? Like I had 365 days, 300 days, 250 days, 200 days to go for me to leave Hyderabad. So all I wanted to do was go to a different university, enjoy college life, and do architecture. Might as well enjoy what I was doing. So at the end of these 2 years, I applied in Bangalore, Pune, Manipal. So starting with Bangalore, my parents said it's too much of a city, like it's too big, you're a little girl, you can't go. It's like, okay, fine. Then I said, I got a call from Manipal University. Then my parents told me, it's a village, you can't go. It's too dangerous and isolated. So that didn't happen. And then I went to Pune and I went through orientation. Finally, I took my mom, we were paying the fee and everything, and I was like, waiting there like this is my dream come true. And one of my uncles passed away back in town. I'm not saying this in humor. I do not mean to be insensitive, but we came back. And for 11 odd days, we stayed back, and of course, decisions changed. And I ended up in a college that's one flyover away from my house. And this was supposed to be the biggest letdown and disappointment of my life. And I remember feeling like it was the end of my life, and I really regretted it. I had a huge fight, and I was in a rebel mode that I didn't want to do architecture. Just put me in some BCom or something. I'll take a gap year, I'll do it next year, and all of that. Clearly, it didn't work out. I did architecture. So that was the first accident that happened in my life. And as a result of that, I stayed back in Hyderabad and I did my first film as a designer in my first year of college. So similarly, when I was in my 11th and 12th, like how I had dance throughout my school, I had some or the other summer jobs throughout my 11th and 12th. I was never the kid who would be satisfied enough going to a coffee shop or a movie or chilling with friends. Was just not my idea of enjoyment. I really wanted to do something. And so I worked with the radio station. I worked in events, and I have done a couple of summer jobs. And one such summer job was with this photographer. I chanced upon this photographer, and I saw all these cameras and clothes, and I saw this designer, and I badly wanted to assist him. So around the end of my 12th, during my holidays, I happened to request multiple people, and I got a chance to assist this designer that I'd not like to name at the moment. So this guy, we had 3 weeks to go. We were doing a commercial shoot, and we were prepping for making these clothes, and we were just about to start off. And out of the many accidents that happen, fortunately for me and unfortunately for that designer, this is one of my favorite accidents. Just before 2 weeks of shoot, that designer got arrested. And here I am standing in front of you, probably with that just one accident. That guy got arrested, and I took his place. I did the first shoot when I was probably 16 and a half, 17, and then there was no looking back. I am very privileged, and I'm very grateful that I found something that I like doing every day. I am surrounded with, I can abuse my creative energy in, and I held on to dear life with it. I knew that once I started it, I didn't want to let it go. That's how architecture happened. This was also during when I was pursuing architecture is when my fashion career started. But when I started in fashion, especially in cinema, there was nothing called a stylist or a designer. And if you're thinking which era it is, I am pretty ancient here. So this started off when I was probably 17 or 18, and my first film was, I think, way back in 2012 or 11. And there were only costumers and tailors and personal assistants for heroes and heroines. So there was this huge gap for them to even understand that there is a profession like this. So we were treated like absolute nobodies. Today, however, there's so many more opportunities and so many more diverse ways to kind of put your energies into. There is digital mediums, there is social media, there is movies, there are TV. There's so much going on, and there's so much work for everybody. Back then, there wasn't really a profession that I could say that this is it. So it was really tough for me to convince or explain to anyone that I was at work. So for example, if I was supposed to attend a family event, and if I said no, I was busy, they wouldn't take me seriously. If probably my brother or somebody else who's a doctor or an engineer would say they're busy, they'd be like, no, they're really busy, so just leave them. So it was always a constant struggle with this. So coming into fashion, I think last week I was just talking to a cousin of mine, and my brother told me it's a privilege. It really hit me because it's really not a privilege. It's a decision that I took, that I want to find something that I love and I want to pursue it for my dear life. And also I think it's a fear of being ordinary, you know. I don't think if I do a 9 to 5 job, I will ever be happy in my life. So I'm really grateful that I found it. When everything's happy, hunky dory, I started my studio around that time, I think around 19 or 20 years of age. And it was like my mini empire, right? I thought this is the biggest achievement probably that I could have done. My studio started off with one or two people as my staff. It went on to 10 people, 15 people. And at my peak a few years ago, I had about 38 people working for me. So when I was actually in a very decent space in terms of styling for films and this, I had my feet in probably two different boats. One is running a label and one is this. And I realized, I think, in the middle of all of this chaos, that somewhere I'm losing out on, I felt like I was growing up too quickly. I didn't have a social life. I would only and only be in the studio, or, I would only plan everything else around it. So I think I believe in the law of attraction, and I was succumbing to this feeling so much that around the same time I was offered help by an investor. When I took this up, long story short, my company got poached, and I had a very bad 2017. 2017 was, I think, by far the worst year I've had, and I think it's the first time I'd be probably confessing that I was going through a proper clinical depression. I thought I'm not going to get out of it, but to my luck, I think the fact that I let go of that studio, which I would never do since I've built it so dearly, once that went off from my hands, I think I focused completely on movie styling, and haven't been this satisfied with work ever. And 2018 was my biggest year career-wise. I think I managed to cover pan-South superstars in Tamil, Kannada, Malayalam, and Telugu. And I remember one of the days I managed to style all 4 languages on one day. So I was really glad end of 2018 that it happened, but 2017 didn't look bright at all. I thought that I had to look for jobs in an architectural firm or something, and thank God I did not. And this is by far my another accident, how I became a designer, how I came into architecture, how I didn't get into the university that I liked. But I think end of 2019, I also ended up having a space where I wanted to do more. But whenever I thought of work, whenever I thought of doing something in terms of an opportunity, I luckily never had the attitude of big or small work. I just really genuinely loved what I did. So I never felt like it was a small gig or a bigger gig or anything like that. And I'm so thankful that I am in that space of mind, because I remember one day I was styling this superstar for a red carpet event that I really wanted to style, and this was like my step up from what I was doing already. And last minute he dropped out from the event. He didn't end up coming. So, sometimes when you work so hard and then finally it doesn't happen, you're obviously very disappointed. And it was one of those days for me. And we worked really hard. We got the outfit and we finished trials. It was all set to go. And he decided he wouldn't go to the event. So I was really let down. And then I came home very low-spirited, and I got a call from a new actor at the time. And I remember him telling me, "Papa, I know that you style all these A-listers, but I really need you to help me out." And even his first film hasn't released at the time. And I was already in a very low spirit, but I really wanted to be visible. I wanted my work to be visible on that red carpet that night. So I said, you know what, I'll do it. And coming from a hope of styling a superstar to styling somebody whose first film also hasn't released, I still felt that work satisfaction. I dragged him, I completely transformed him. We did a nice photo shoot that I would probably not even get to do with this superstar. And instantly, the movie incidentally became a super hit. And his name is Vijay Devarkonda. And I'm so glad I took up that chance today because it is such a huge part in what I do today. I must have styled everybody or anybody you can name in South, but I have a new identity because of him. And I'm so glad that that day I didn't think of that opportunity as small or big, and it kind of contributed to what I'm doing today. So I'm happy for those accidents as well. And coming to the final accident, I think last year I chanced upon another one such accident. We were sitting in a coffee shop, a friend and we were just discussing a bunch of projects. See, from the previous 2 years, I had been pitching some content, digital content, to various platforms like Amazon and Netflix and all of this. And nothing ever took off. It was for over 2.5 years. I was looking for digital space, fiction, non-fiction. I was trying to basically diversify myself into something. You know, a friend of mine once told me that there are multiple entries into this industry, but there's never an exit. And it really hit me, and I think it's true. It's a passion for cinema, probably, or whatever it is. I think I wouldn't be happier anywhere else, and I'm very glad that I at least had the chance to discover that about myself. So we were sitting in this coffee shop and we spoke about some stories, and he told me a line about a movie, and I really liked it. And I said, why not we pitch it to so and so actress? And we did. Within 2 weeks, we started this movie, and here I can stand before you and reintroduce myself to you as a producer, and it's purely by accident. And this happened last year. We just finished shooting, and I'm looking forward for the release in the next 1 month. So I truly believe in the law of attraction, and I think that when I was a kid, and when I was probably even 7 or 10 years old, I know that this is exactly what I want to do. This is exactly the kind of work, the people, the travel, everything that comes with it is what I wanted to do. And there was no definition for my profession at that time. And I'm so glad that I came into my own and I'm doing what I'm doing. And I am privileged, but not that I got lucky. I'm privileged that I found my passion, and I'm privileged that I got a chance and I got so many opportunities to pursue it again and again and again. Thank you.